Thank you, Stefan. Yeah, so as Stefan said, my name is Shai, and I am the head of Sesame US operation. Sesame Enable is a startup company, an assistive technology startup company that started in Israel, and I'm going to give you a brief kind of like background about our company, how we started, what do we do, and then I'm going to jump right in and talk about our technology. And after a couple of minutes of kind of like explaining the fundamentals of our technology and how does it work, I'm going to share the screen of my smartphone with you guys, and you'll be able to see how I'm fully controlling my phone with movements of my head. I'm going to stop a few times in the middle of the demonstration to allow you guys to ask questions, so feel free either to jump in and just ask a question or to chat, whatever you feel comfortable with. So Sesame Enable was founded by the two individuals that you see in the picture, a quadriplegic that used to be an electrical engineer and suffered a neck injury at the age of 55, and the young guy next to him with the red shirt, his name is Oded. He's our current CEO, and he's a computer vision expert. Giora was sitting at home a couple of years after his injury, watching a late-night show TV in Israel, and he saw Oded on TV presenting a game that he developed with gesture technology. Oded was moving his head, and things was happening on the screen, and Giora had an idea that this kind of technology can be used for him to control a smartphone. His mission statement was to order flowers for his wife without her knowing about it. And he found the number of Oded. He just called the TV production. He found the number. He made the phone call. He said, "My name is Giora. I cannot move my hands or legs. Can you help me make a smartphone I can use?" They met up a couple of days later, and the next week Oded closed his gaming company, and they founded Sesame Enable together with a very clear mission statement, as you see in the presentation: bridging the gap between people's physical ability and the mobile revolution. There are millions of people around the world that were left out of the mobile revolution because they cannot use their hands. Either they have no control of their hands or they lack the hand's dexterity to control a smart device, a touch screen. So this is where we come into the picture to try to meet this need of people with disability to do everything that we do on a daily basis with our smartphone and tablets. So a little bit about the solution. The solution that I'm going to present today is a mobile app. We call this mobile app Open Sesame. It's the world's first complete touch-free mobile technology. It's an Android app. It's available on the Google Play Store. The only thing you need to do in order to get this app on your device is go to the Google Play Store, download the app. You're going to get 30 days for free. We have a tutorial to walk you through all the features of the app. And after those 30 days, the app is $20 a month. You don't need any additional hardware or software. You don't need to wear special glasses. You don't need to put a sticker on your forehead. We simply use the front-facing camera of the device with advanced image processing algorithm to track the movements of the user's head. And then we translate those movements into an on-screen cursor, and you're going to see it in a second. And then with small gestures of my head, left, right, and up and down, you're going to see how I'm moving the cursor around the screen. Then with a simple dwell-click mechanism, I can tap and I can swipe and I can zoom in and I can drag icons, and I can use any app on my device whatsoever, whether it's Facebook or checking my emails or going on YouTube or watching movies or Netflix. Everything that you do on your smart device, our users can do with simple head movements. So that's the basic idea of the Open Sesame app. The only requirement from the device is that it will work on Android 7 operating system. We became an app in 2016, so any device, any Android device, whether it's Samsung or Google or LG or Sony from the last 2 years, and whether it's a smartphone or a tablet, you just go to the Google Play Store and you download the app. I know that a lot of people are thinking whether we are available on Apple. So we're currently not available on Apple. The reason is that Apple is a closed source operating system, which means that apps cannot communicate with each other, unlike the open source system of the Android operating system. So this is basically what we do. Our app can interact with all the other apps on your device. We are working on trying to bring this solution to Apple, but we are not getting currently the cooperation that we need from Apple. We are working on having the same solution for Windows, and I hope that this solution will be available by the end of the year. So as I said, we solve a problem. More than 30 million people around the world that have been left out of the mobile revolution. According to the study that we did, we're talking about 2 million people in the US And people with various conditions, it can be spinal cord injury, it can be ALS, MS, cerebral palsy, Parkinson, degenerative muscle disease, muscle dystrophy. You probably know it better than I do. There's a lot of people out there that are having real difficulty with operating a smart device. And we're also counting situational condition, bedridden, people that have been injured and they're now hospitalized for a few months and cannot use their hands for a temporary period of time. This solution can be very useful for them as well. We have a few acute centers around the country that are already using our technology. We have dozens of rehabilitation centers, mainly on the East Coast because this is where we are located, from Mount Sinai to Shepherd Center to McGee in Philadelphia, that are actively using our technology. And I think especially for people with spinal cord injuries, this is the perfect solution, the easiest solution, the most affordable solution to fully control your smart device. So I'm going to go now to a demonstration, and I'm going to stop here for a second to see if you guys have questions, and you can feel free to just tell me your question, or you can chat, and I'm going to share my screen with you in a second. Okay, so you guys now see my screen, and I'm going to open Sesame. There are two ways to open Sesame. You can see the app on my screen, on my smartphone screen. It's just my personal smartphone that is mounted next to me. You can see my smartphone here. It's mounted next to me. And I can either open the app with a simple voice command, just saying open Sesame, or I can open it with switch access, which will immediately start the face calibration. So I'm going to start it right now manually. And the first thing you're going to see is that it's looking for a face, any face it sees on the screen. The calibration takes a couple of seconds, and the next thing you see is that I have the cursor on the screen, that I'm moving right and left, up and down. You see that I'm not doing a lot of head movements, but that can be adjusted. I can increase the sensitivity or decrease the sensitivity. I can do less movement or more movement. It really depends on what the user wants. Now you see the green line charging around the cursor. That's our dwell click mechanism. It's currently programmed to 1.5 seconds. So I'm moving around. Once I'm stopping somewhere, it dwells and it opens my action menu. I'm now in control of the little blue dot in the middle, and I can choose the action I want to perform. The purple is swipe, and you can also see that it's written in the middle of the circle. That's the swipe option. That's the tap option or click. The orange is zoom in. The blue is more action, and it brings it to another menu with some additional option. And the icon on the left, that's no actions. It just cancels, and then I'm getting the cursor back on. So if I want to swipe, I will take the little dot in the middle to the swipe option, and now I can stretch this line in any direction I want. And it's kind of like the motion I would have done with my finger. I'm just sliding over the screen, again stretching the line to the other side. Now let's say I want to go and check out my emails. I'm just going to hover over my Gmail account icon, pressing tap. Now in my Gmails, I can scroll up and down by stretching the line up or by stretching the line down. And everything that you see, the timers, the colors, everything is adjustable to the preference of the user. Let's say I want to open this email, tap on it. Now let's say that I want to answer this email from Diane. So you see that the keyboard jumps automatically. So I can use the keyboard if I'm nonverbal, and for that we have a shortcut. I'll go to more actions. And this is kind of like an additional menu that we have. We have the option to hold a swipe. If I want to drag icons, I have the option to double tap. And I have this option, which is really important, always tap. Now every time I hover over a letter, it automatically taps, and I can use the shortcuts that I have here, and I can write an email that way. If I want to record, I just press the microphone. Now I'm just going to speak, and it's going to write down whatever I'm saying, but I can still use the cursor to add punctuation or to delete words, so I'm not completely dependent on the microphone, which is not always working for everyone. If I want to leave this app, I just taking the cursor down, You see this is my home button, and it takes me back to my home menu. This is back, and here I have split screen. So we have on-screen representation of every physical button you may have on your device. You see that I'm still on always tap. Every time I'm stopping somewhere, nothing happens. I want to cancel the option of always tap, so I'm just taking my head to the left side of the screen. I'm letting it charge, and now I'm getting back my action menu. If I want to lock the cursor because I don't want to see the cursor running on the screen, I want to watch a video, I want to read a book, I'm just taking the cursor to the right. You see the lock icon. Now the cursor is locked, so I can relax, I can rest, I can watch a video. I don't need to worry about the cursor running on the screen, and I can always unlock it, whether it's with a head movement or with a simple voice command. So that's the first part of, and you see the bar, the lower part of the screen. This is how I'm unlocking it, and I'm going to close the app for a second, and I'm going to allow you to ask some questions because that was a lot of information. Any questions?
So Helene Ferreira from Piers in Auburn says, wow, I wish this was available for Apple products. And Jim Sensor at ILRC Santa Barbara says it's an Open Sesame device and OS independent.
Our technology is simply an app, and it will work again on any Android operating system. You just need to go to the Google Play Store, you download the app, you're getting 30 days for free. If I'm going to open the app for a second, wait a second, I'm going to share the screen with you again because it's not following what I'm doing here. But when you download the app, you're going to get 30 days for free, and it will work right out of the box. So the only product that we are actually selling is the app. We also offer our users what we call a bundle, and this is something that we usually sell to organizations, to hospitals, to independent living centers. We offer them a bundle of a mount, a device, whether it's a smartphone or a tablet, and an unlimited license for the app. Then you're getting a bundle with the hardware that you need, with the mount that you need, and you're getting an unlimited license, so you don't need to deal with recurring payments. You pay one-time payment of $700, and you're getting the app for life. What we do for independent living centers and NGOs, because we want them to have this technology, is that we are going to provide the hardware for free. We are going to give you a free Samsung tablet when you buy the unlimited license. Then for $700, you get the unlimited license, which includes all future updates to the app, and we have a lot of updates coming up almost every couple of weeks. You have the tablet, and you can add a mount to that, or if you have a mount, you can use whatever amount you have there, and you're good to go, and you don't need to deal with any recurring payments. And I think that one of the biggest advantages of our technology is the fact that we are an app. When you're buying into the app, when you're starting to pay the monthly subscription, or you're buying it in a one-time payment, you're getting all future updates. So whatever the technology is today, you're not only buying that, but you're buying everything that's going to come in the future. So I'm going to just tell you about our last upgrade, because that was a major upgrade which will open the door for Sesame for a huge population. You saw me dwell, and currently the way the app is working is that I just need to dwell, and the action menu opens, and then I can dwell again, and I can click or I can swipe. What we added is the implementation of switch access. So a lot of people, I'm working with a lot of kids with CP and a lot of other individuals that are having a hard time keeping their head still, even for a second, for the dwell-click mechanism to start. So we implemented the switch access into our application. So now, if you have a switch connected to your device, one push, and it's going to start the face calibration, and then you just move the cursor around. One push, you'll be able to tap on anything you want, and a long press on the switch, you'll be able to swipe with your head to any direction you want. So now our user can choose. If they want to work with dwell, this is what they like, they can do that. If they prefer to work with switch, that's also available, and it's really, really up to the users. If I'm going to open the app again, I'm going to do it in a second. I'm going to show you our settings menu and how you can adjust a lot of the features on the app to your preference. So just a second. Do you guys now see the screen? Okay, so now I'm going into the app, and you can see that I have the training on the upper left corner. It will recommend every user that is downloading the app to go through the training, and it will walk you step by step through every features of the app, where to position your head, how to tap, how to swipe, everything you need to know. It's about 10-15 minutes, and after you go through this simple tutorial, you'll have a basic understanding of how to use the app. From my experience, most users will get a hold of the app in a matter of 20-30 minutes. Obviously, you'll get better as you use it, but after 20-30 minutes, you'll be able to control your phone with simple head movements. If I'm going to the settings menu, you see that I'm now in the upper left corner. I'm in the pointer. This is the pointer menu, and the first two lines that you see, that's the horizontal and vertical sensitivity. If I'm working with someone that, for example, have a high spinal cord injury, and I see that it's hard for that individual to get the cursor all the way down or all the way up, he can't reach the edges of the screen, I can increase the sensitivity by a little bit. I can do it manually, or I can do Calibrate Sensitivity, which I'm just going to show the camera the range of my movement. You see that left and right, that's what I can do, that's the range of my movement. And let's say that up and down, I'm even more limited. That's what I can do. Now it's going to adjust the sensitivity according to the range of my specific movements. You see that now the numbers are different. It's more sensitive because I didn't show a lot of movement. You can also see that you can control here the click time, which is how long I need to dwell in one place, the size of the pointer, the color of the pointer, and that's about it. And in the general menu, we keep adding new features to that mode. You can see the first box, enable Open Sesame from a closed screen. I don't want to close my phone right now, but if I'm closing my phone, I'm closing my screen, I'll just need to say Open Sesame, and it will start the face calibration immediately, so I don't need the help of anyone to start the application. I can just use a voice command. Again, if you can't speak, you can just use the switch access, and it will immediately start the calibration. You can see the two boxes that we checked, that we added last week. That's the Enable Switch Mode and Start Sesame with Switch Press. So if I'm checking this box, Start Sesame with Switch Press, you just need one press on the switch, and it will start the face calibration. If I'm checking the box above it of Enable Switch Mode, then I don't need to dwell. I move the cursor around with my head, and once I want to choose something, one press and it will choose it. You can also see here that you can automatically answer incoming calls, and we give our users more options. You can answer all incoming calls just from contacts, just from start contacts, always, or just when you have a Bluetooth device. And we also added 3 voice commands that allow our users to answer incoming phone calls, dismiss incoming phone calls, or hang up at the end of the conversation, so you don't have to have your phone on automatically answer. If I'm scrolling a little bit lower here, you can see that we also allow our user to set their own voice command. Sorry. Instead of saying Open Sesame, you can record your own voice command. You can reposition, you can turn off Sesame, you can lock the pointer. All of that have voice commands that work with the Google voice command, and you can record your own voice commands. Another very convenient feature that we have, if I'm opening my app again, it's going through the face calibration. In a couple of seconds, I'm getting control over the app. You can see that it's very, very sensitive right now because I did the face calibration, and now I barely need to move my head around, and you see how I'm reaching the edges of the screen. If someone is blocking my camera as I'm doing right now, or I'm moving away from the screen, just a second, I can just go back to the screen and I'm getting the control. So if, again, someone is blocking my camera or I moved away from the camera, all I need to do is get back in front of the screen. Sometimes it will do the face calibration again, but again, we're trying to create as much independence as possible. We want to give our users the privacy to use their phone on their own. They don't need to call anyone. If it lost track, it will reposition again and it will do the face calibration again. You can control your incoming and outgoing calls. You can do whatever you want, and it will work right out of the box with very little training necessary. Any additional questions for now?
There was a couple other questions on here, and I think you may have answered one of them, but Juliana Harris says, you seem rather quick with the program. Is the learning curve typically quick?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that the learning curve is pretty quick. From my experience, and I work with people from the age of 5 to the 70s, obviously the younger people, children, people that used to have a smartphone, it will be easier for them. And I've seen kids and teenagers and people in their 20s that got a hold of the technology in 5 to 10 minutes. For older folks or people that never used a smart device, some of our users never had the opportunity to use a smart device in their life, so they need more time to adjust to the whole idea of smart device. The learning curve can be an hour, and in extreme cases, maybe a couple of sessions of going through that. But I think that in compared to other technologies, and as you saw for yourself, there is not a lot to do. You see a cursor on the screen, you dwell, it opens an action menu, you can tap and you can swipe, and I think that in about 10 to 15 minutes, most people will get a hold of the technology. Then obviously with time, they will get better. But for the majority of the people, the same day that they start using the technology, they will already have full control over the device. More
Great,
questions?
Thank you. And let's see, there's another question from Eileen with Kaiser Permanente. Would you be able to use this program for Kindle Fire tablets?
So currently you can't, because the Kindle tablets are not using a real Android version. They're using some kind of a different Android version. We are working to find a solution for those Fire tablets as well as the Google Chromebooks, and I hope it's something that will be available soon. But for now, it needs to be either an Android tablet, it can be Samsung tablet or Google tablet or an LG tablet or anything else that works on Android, or a smartphone. And a lot of our users, we're also helping them with them. They're asking us, which device is better. We have a very supportive customer success team, and it's very, very important for us to be available for our users. Once the user is downloading the app, this is where for us the process starts. They will get an email from us with everything they need to know about setting up the device. They can schedule a phone call or a conference call. We can also see what they see on their device and help them set up the menu. We do visits if it's possible and if we're in the area. But with a lot of our users, we have almost weekly basis communication. We're letting them know when there are new updates. And it's really important for us also to hear the feedback from our users, because as I say, it's an app and it's an ongoing process. Every time we're getting a new feedback or something that we ask our users, what is the one thing you really want to do? And in most cases, we have a solution for that. Just for an example, if I'm opening the app again, you can see that at the lower part of the little square, we have take selfie and video selfie. This is an example of something that we added after a lot of our users wanted that. And at the beginning, it wasn't available because we are using the front-facing camera of the device to track the movement of the user's head. But we find a solution for that, and our users can take both selfies and video selfies. So it's really important for us to keep an open communication with our users. Other questions?
Yes, there was a couple more questions.
Yes.
So from Emily Flynn with CFILC is asking, does the Sesame app allow you to use with any app on your device?
Yeah, so it will work with any app on your device. There are no limitation to that. Angry Birds, YouTube, whatever you have. We have students that are using AAC apps, so you can use it. We have speech-language pathologists that are using it. So really, there are no limitations. Everything that you would like to do on your device is available with Sesame.
Awesome. And she also had another question from Emily Flynn. So a user would only need assistance to set up, and then every other time using the device is completely accessible.
Yeah, exactly. The only time that the user will need help is to set up the device on a mount. And It doesn't have to be a mount. It can be, you can limit on a laptop or find other creative ways to do it. We work with the mount that I have here, and we call it the bamboo mount. It's made by Readapt. We sell it on our website for $250, and that includes a connector to a table or a connector to a wheelchair, and it has holder for a smartphone, holder for a tablet. It's a very sturdy mount, and we like to use it, but you can use any other mount. Once you mount the application, once you mount the phone, you're good to go. You don't need the assistance of anyone. So the only part that you actually need an assistant is mounting the phone approximately in front of the user's face. It doesn't have to be right in front. As you see, now it's mounted on my right, so I just need to look to the right. It can be a little bit below yourself, but the ideal way is that it will be approximately 10-15 inches in front of your face.
Okay, great. And another question, Emily says thank you. And then a question from Vincent Lopez from Center for Independence in San Mateo. Are there any issues with bright light or glare affecting the phone's recognition?
Yeah, so in general, we went a long way and we perfected the algorithm for the last year and a half, so it's rare that there are any issues. Sometimes if there is direct light on the camera, you might need to change the angle a little bit, but in general, you can use it outside, you can use it indoor, you can use it, I sometimes show it to my friends in a bar where it's pretty dark. So it will work with almost all lights. If you see that it doesn't recognize your face in the first 2 seconds, maybe you need to get a little bit closer to the device, maybe make sure that there is no direct light on the camera, but we do not have a lot of issues with that.
All right, good. Thank you, Shai. It looks like we're out of questions for the time being.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to continue. I think we have one more slide here. I want to share with you a couple of stories that kind of give you a better understanding of the potential and the power of this technology. The first story is the story of Gary Fisher. That's the guy you see on the left with his wife. And he's also featured if you go to our website, there is a video with Gary. And Gary has MS, and a couple of years after they discovered MS in his body, he completely lost control over his movement below the shoulders, and he was simply sitting at home, his wife working full-time job, and he will be sitting in front of the same TV channel throughout the whole day. His wife, Eileen, that you see in the picture, has no way to communicate with him. She would not know if she's all right, if he needs anything. She will tell us that every night she's coming back home, and she will, hope that Gary is still alive, because they will have no means of communication between them. And he was obviously very depressed, disconnected from the world, and he found out about our technology through a support group. And it's truly amazing to see what this technology did to his life. He's now very active on social media. He's on Facebook, he's on Twitter, he's taking selfies with his grandchildren. He started connected with friends, and once you're connecting with friends through Facebook and they see that you're still out there, he started being invited to friends, he started travel. He controlled his house and a lot of feature in his house, whether it's lights or TV or the curtains, through his smart device. With the development of Internet of Things, you can now easily get a smart plug, you can get a smart TV, and you can control everything from an application. And if you can control it from an application, it means that you can control it with head movements. So you can sit on your wheelchair and you can control virtually anything in your house. And not only that it completely changed the life of Gary, and you can see in the video that we prepared what he says about it, it obviously completely changed the life of his family, of his wife. He now can sell them selfies. If he needs something, he can call them. It can also reduce the cost of every care that he needs, because he doesn't need someone with him 24/7, because if he needs something, he can call his wife. So, it was amazing to see how it completely changed his life in a matter of a few weeks. And the second person that you see, Alex Friedman, on the right side, here in a picture with Prime Minister Netanyahu, Alex led a very successful campaign in Israel for raising awareness and raising the compensation that the government is paying for people with disabilities in Israel. The campaign was called Handicap, Not Half a Person, and it sounds a little bit better in Hebrew. But he led this very, very successful and effective campaign through Facebook campaigns, through Instagram campaigns. He interviewed to newspapers and radio, and he did everything without using his hands, only with head control and voice control. And he's a very, very technological person and very active. And it's just amazing to see how a technology like that can give a voice to someone like Alex, that without access to technology, without access to smartphone, would not have been able to lead such a successful campaign. And it was successful, and they got what they needed eventually. And he became kind of the well-known figure in the Israeli public sphere. So that's a couple of stories, and there are many other stories. Just last week I went to NYU and I connected the device to the hospital bed of a 15-year-old that in a matter of minutes was able to play video games from his hospital bed, and he was paralyzed from the neck down. So there are endless opportunities and doors that can be opened with this technology. And I want to stress again the offer that we are extending to all of you that are now listening. We can offer you a free Samsung tablet when you buy the unlimited license for $700. You can also do another webinar once you get the device, and we make sure to train everyone that needs to be trained. So for $700, you can get the Samsung device and an unlimited license, and for another $250, you can have the mount. So that's an offer that is available. You can send me an email. My email is on the first slide, and I'll be happy to provide you with additional details. Do we have any final questions? And by the way, you can completely feel free to send me emails with additional questions. If you think of someone, if you think of a specific person that you might think that might benefit from it, feel free to refer people to me. Feel free to refer family members directly to me. We have a chat on our website. You can go on the chat, or you can refer people to this chat and they can communicate with us in live. You can also go to the support tab in our website, and you can see videos of us doing what I just showed you, tapping, swiping, blocking the cursor, using switch access. So you can always refresh your memory with those videos on our website. Do we have any final questions?
Yes, Shai, there's a couple questions, or there's one question, a couple comments. Emily Flynn is asking, are you aware of any programs or grants that assist individuals in purchasing of the full kits?
So we do have subsidy plans, but unfortunately not in California. We are working, and maybe you guys will help us to set something up, because we do have subsidy plans in 12 states around the U.S., from Maryland to Texas to Wisconsin to Washington. And in those states, people with lower income can get the whole bundle subsidized by the state. We currently don't have a similar program in California. If you guys know of a program, I know that in New York, for example, we have a program called Access VR that is helping, that can fund technology for people that want the technology to go back to work or to gain education. If you know of a program in California that might be relevant for that, I'll be happy to connect with them. But currently we don't have in California a program that might help people to fund the bundle.
One thing I could tag onto that is that we do have a loan program, Freedom Tech, in California, which I happen to coordinate, Stephen March here. And so we're part of CFILC, and so we are able to provide financing from $500 up to $15,000 for assistive technology. So it would be a loan that gets paid back, but that is one option. If it's, I think you said it was $700 for the bundle. Yeah. So yeah, that's something that would be possible for people too.
Yeah. I mean, for the user themselves, the $700 is something that we offer for organizations that do not want to deal with the recurring payment. But for the user themselves, all they need is to get a smartphone or tablet. If they already have an Android smartphone or tablet, they're only paying $20 a month. Okay. If they need a smartphone or tablet, this is where a loan might be relevant. They can buy a smartphone or a tablet. Those are not too expensive, especially when you're talking about Android. The tablet that I'm working with costs around $400. And it's a one-time expense, and then you have the app on it, and you can decide if you want to pay monthly, if you want to pay yearly, if you want to buy the app for life. Most users, for obvious reasons, prefer to pay $20 a month, and then they can stop at any time, and there is no commitment. But we're very flexible, and we want to offer as many options as possible for our users. So I think that the best way for an independent living center organization to spread the word is to just have a device. If you have an AT library and an AT center, and we will do whatever we can to, give you the discounts that you need and the free tablet that we offer to just get it out there. Because once people will see what they can do with that, then it's better than anything else and any explanation.
Right. No, that's great. And there's a couple other just comments.
Yeah.
Jasmine with Resources for Independent Living says that's fantastic. Thank you. Emily Flynn says it shows some bundles $1,500.
Yeah, this is the full bundle. This bundle includes the license, it includes a tablet or a smartphone, and it includes the mounts. So that goes for around $1,500. What we offer, and this is if someone wants to buy everything from us. So if someone doesn't want to go to Best Buy or doesn't want to go to Amazon, they want to buy the device from us, they want to buy the mount for us, we can send them all of those, all these equipment to their house in a box, and that will be approximately $1,500. For organizations, for NGOs, it's going to be $700 for the license and a free tablet. So the price that you see on our website, that's the full price of a bundle. But for NGOs, again, we have a special different price.
Okay, gotcha. And let's see, we had a comment from Helene Ferreira, and she says, looks like an amazing app. I have an iPhone and an iPad. Looking forward to seeing something like this available for Apple products. And Vincent Lopez from Center for Independence, San Mateo is asking, does medical insurance cover it?
No, currently, as far as I know, Medicaid or Medicare or medical insurance is not covering it. And we are trying to have some leeway there, but currently they're not covering it as far as I know.
Okay, and Joe Escalante from SVILC says, is that Benjamin Netanyahu?
Yeah, that's Benjamin Netanyahu, and Alex Friedman, as part of his very successful campaign that he had, he got a meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu, and in this picture he's actually showing Open Sesame to Benjamin Netanyahu.
Oh, cool. Okay, and another question also, will Department of Rehabilitation cover an app like that?
Department of Rehabilitation.
So like vocation. So in California, it's Department of Rehabilitation. It would be vocational rehabilitation in other states, or.
Yeah, I mean, I know that in New York we already became a vendor of the vocational rehabilitation program they have in New York, XSVR. So again, we will reach out if you have specific organizations and programs like Department of Rehabilitation. We will definitely try to reach out and see if they will be willing to fund something like that, because that can be amazing for people to go back to work. If you can write emails, if you can make phone calls, if you can open a Word document and write a document, then you can basically go back to work, and you can also do everything from the comfort of your own house. So I do know that a lot of those kind of organization programs around the country are funding our technology.
Very good. Okay. And a couple other, one more question, another comment. Is the amount included with the 700 for organizations from Emily? 700,
that includes the unlimited license and a free tablet. The amount is an extra $250.
Okay.
And the $250 including taxes and shipment from Germany. So if you want the mount, the license, and the tablet, that will be $950.
Okay. And Helene from Piers in Auburn says that commented on the Department of Rehab. She said, I would think the Department of Rehab would cover it as long as you could show it as needed for work. And Emily Flynn is saying, okay, thanks, just wanted to double check.
Okay, yeah, and again, I'll be happy if you guys want to send me emails later with any comments, ideas, questions, follow-up questions you may have. And if you think that the Department of Rehabilitation is a relevant program, we will definitely reach out. They have the same kind of criteria here in New York, that it has to be related to vocational, either finding a job or going back to school, and which our technology can definitely be relevant for. So I will try to look into it and see if we can become a vendor of this organization.
Awesome, thank you, Shai. Yeah, it's great to see the app, and yeah, I'm excited about it, and I'm sure everyone is on the call. And Shai, we really appreciate your time, and everybody.
Thank you guys for your time, and it was my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you again. So you guys have a great day. Thank you.